Okay, so this is a PSA for people about race brakes in Horizon 5. Now, I have no idea if this has been an issue in previous Horizon games or motorsport games. My first Forza game was Horizon 4, and I only recently learned about this issue in Horizon 5 last week. So if you put race brakes onto your car, obviously you're able to change the brake bias or balance and the brake pressure. Now, normally when you when you change the brake bias, you if you want to make, say, a drift car and make the rear tires lock up, you put the bias all the way to the rear and then all the way brake pressure all the way up. That's normally what you do. If you want a car that's more stable under braking, instead you put it up a bit, say 60%. Or if you want to be really crazy and just lock the front wheels all the time, you put it all the way to 100%. We're gonna go with 60% here and 92% brake pressure. Just a pretty an average sort of braking pressure for people. Like what I tend to use, but whatever. Doesn't matter. You can imagine that there might be a few tunes out there using that sort of brake bias. 60% to the front and maybe about 90% up to 100% brake pressure if you're using ABS. I've turned it off for this demonstration. Watch the wheels. I'm gonna brake now. Notice which tires locked up first. We're gonna exaggerate it. I'm now going to put the brake bias all the way to the front, and I'm going to put the brake pressure all the way up. Watch the wheels. Yes, as you can see, the rear wheels are locking, even though I've tuned the brakes to have I've tuned the brakes to have the balance all the way to the front, but the rear wheels are locking. So what happens if I move the brake bias all the way to the rear? Well, I think you can guess, but we'll show you I'll show you just for demonstration's sake. Yeah, it's a little counterintuitive. I've not tried this in Horizon 4. I don't know if it exists in Horizon 4, hence, why I'm doing it here. But yeah, do it again. Show you that it was not a fluke. Front wheels braking. Go to the braking tunes. And we've got the braking balance all the way to the rear. So yeah, that's got to be a bug, because you don't lock the front wheels by putting all the brake pressure at the rear. So yeah, if anyone is using tunes out there and they've got it's looking like it's either a pretty standard tune where you think you've got 100% brake pressure and what you think is a bit of brake bias to the front, or if you've got a trying to make a drift tune and you've got all the brake bias towards the rear and you're wondering why it's not drifting properly, this is why. So if you want to make that more stable car with 100% brake pressure and slightly forward brake bias, you've got to set it to 45% instead of 55%. And if you want to make the rear tyres lock for a drift car, you've got to set it to 100% to the front rather than 0% to the rear. Really counterintuitive. I hope they fix this, but we've got to wait until I think the new year until they do try and fix things. Yeah. Really kind of irritating that such stupid bugs exist in this game. You'd think that it would just be... You'd think that with so many things carried over from Horizon 4 that it would be just easy to copy many of the mechanics, and yet they've messed that up so badly. I mean, earlier I didn't even have traffic. That was just really insane. No, not insane, but you know what I mean. It's not nice to have so many bugs, especially the freezing bugs. I'm going to show you that to you. I'll just teleport to the festival quickly, and then I'll show you what happens when I leave. First, immediately exit, load into the outside world, and the game freezes. And then it works again, and it does that every time I start a race. That's not great, so... Anyway, that's the PSA over. Thank you for watching. Hope you learned something.